today. Today I'm just going to be showing you guys how I make my car seat for our Doona car seat. The Doona is a little bit different because it's a car seat and a stroller in one. So the typical car seat cover where it goes over the rails wasn't really going to work for us when the car seat rail was in the stroller position. So just to kind of show you guys what we're going to be making today, this is the first one that I made. It's basically just a square piece of fabric. And I do have a little flap here in the middle where you can peek in on your little one. And then I have two straps here, so if you do have a traditional car seat, you can do this. I'm going to skip this step today because we hardly ever do that. And I will link the tutorial that I learned from that shows you how to do this. But what I'm going to show you is how I stumbled across making this particular part, which is this little flap, and it folds over on itself and it snaps, and that is what goes around the actual handle of the car seat, and then the car seat thing straps over, just kind of rests over the rest of the car seat. So I'm going to show you how I do that. Okay, so the materials that you are going to need for your project, obviously you need some fabric. I found this particular pattern at Joann's, although I've recently really gotten into designing my own fabric patterns, so this will probably be one of the last times I buy from a big box store like that. You'll also need either a complementing pattern or just a solid color for your backing. Then you're obviously going to need some thread, you're going to need sewing machines. I like to use this cutting mat because I'm basically going to be making a big square, and so having a big ruler with a rotor cutter is really helpful for that. You will be making some markings, so I like this disappearing ink marker. Then I have my handy dandy little hem guide. That's pretty fantastic. You can find that at Joann's too. Fabric scissors, pins, and a pen in case you really want it. I always usually have a pen around. So the first step you're going to do is you're going to cut the front and back fabric into a yard square. A yard is 36 inches. Then you're going to sew the front and back together with right sides facing each other. On this step, you're going to sew all of the sides. Don't worry, we're going to be making a window later to where you can turn it inside out so that the right side is facing out. I personally serged the sides of my car seat cover just to prevent fraying, but this is an unnecessary step. You do not need a serger. Just slightly below center, you're going to measure a rectangle that's 7 inches by 5 inches. Then you're going to mark inside that a ½ an inch. I used a solid line to denote which part was the 7 by 5, and I used a dash line to mark in a ½ inch. Cut on this dashed line and then cut diagonally from the dashed line to the solid line. Pull the cover inside out through this window and then pin the flaps for the window inside the inside of the car seat cover so that you have a nice finish. Then you're going to top stitch the window and the outside of the cover. Then you're going to take the front and back fabrics and cut out 4 pieces, each measuring 8 inches by 10 inches. I decided to use black on both sides since I had more of that fabric than the other one. Sew the front and back together, but this time you need to leave enough on the edge to be able to pull the fabric through to the right side. Once you've done that, top stitch the rectangle closed. Pin the first flap over the window and then pin the second flap on the bottom as shown, making sure that it is on the back and that it is on the side closest to your offset window. Sew the flaps on. For this next part, you can use Velcro per the instructions on the packaging, or you can use snaps, again, using the instructions on the packaging. I chose to use snaps because I feel like it lasts a little bit longer than Velcro in my opinion. Alright, and now you just drape it over. This part snaps around itself, around the handle. That drapes in front, and I usually get the flap to go right where the shade sits, and then the rest of the car seat cover goes over the shade, and you're done.